Now, I just want to talk about, what's going on with black people and how we allowed ourselves to be identified as violent, how we look at each other as violent, how we say we fear what we're going to do to each other's, and we can do nothing on the level of what white people have done to black people. So I just want to give you an example. See, December 9th, 1864, uh, 1864, on the March of Sahana, hundreds of thousands of African American families who had just escaped from slavery were left to drown by Sherman's army. This is referred to as the massacre at Ibben's Creek. The massacre at Ibben's Creek. I'm just doing to show you this is how we've been treated. This is how we've been treated in America. Just another one. Okay. May 3rd, 1866, Memphis Massacre. From May 1st to May 3rd in 1866, white civilians and police killed 46 African Americans and injured many more while burning houses, schools, and churches in Memphis, Tennessee. No criminal proceedings was held for the instigators or perpetrators of atrocities committed during the Memphis riots. Okay, that's another one. That's another one. I just need my people to understand what's going on. This is American way of life. This is what America has always done. America has always, whites, if they couldn't get their way, they came and ran things through violence and force. This is the American way. This is what they always done. And black people know this. So what black people have done is they've stuck their head in the ground like an ostrich and accepted being less than citizens, have accepted the brutality. That's the truth in the matter, because standing up, they feel is too difficult. So, New Orleans Massacre, also known as the New Orleans riots, occurred when white residents attacked black marchers gathered outside the Mechanics Institute, where the reconvened Louisiana Constitutional Convention met in repose to the state legislature enacting black codes and limiting suffrage. As explained in An Absolute Massacre, the 1866 riots at the Mechanic Institute. The parade of marchers were twirled off the mob on the other side of the canal, but once they made it to the Mechanic Institute where the convention was taking place, inside they were beset by more violence. A gang of white supremacists and ex-Confederate attacked. Fire sirens went off, signaling police to attack. They were sent by the mayor. There were panic because the police and firemen armed surrounded that building and began advancing, says Karen Cosbell. The police constantly join in when it comes to attacking black people. See, the goal with the criminalization of black people was to de-arm us. See, that's the whole process with the felony with black men, was to de-arm us so that the women be left for slaughter. I don't know why y'all think that these white people are so civil when they repeatedly show you they have a history of violence, lack of humanity. They consistently show you this. As a collective, This is what they show you they are about. This is what they continuously do. This is New Orleans Rise, 1866, July 30th. We done nothing to these white people. Black people have done nothing to these white people. What have you done to them? Tell them to find you massacring them. You're not going to find it. September 19th, 1868. As Carmelo Massacre. As African Americans marched peacefully in response to the explosions from elected officials, more than a dozen was massacred near Albany, Georgia. September 28th, 1868, Olofius Massacre. In response to the promotion of voters' registration, a KKK-like group massacred hundreds of people, most who were African American. In response to blacks registering to vote, whites massacred hundreds of blacks. In response to them not liking the way black people voted in 2020, whites stormed the White House because they couldn't get their way. October 25th, 1868, St. Bernard Parish Massacre. The St. Bernard Parish, Louisiana massacre of African Americans was carried out by white men to terrorize the recently emancipated voters. Again, terrorizing black people for voting. You can't have no say-so. Silent, nigga. Be in the background. This is what they teach you. This is what they saying to you. And this is why you have blacks saying they don't vote, it don't count, because a lot of them scared to vote still. The Yopi people shelter of Skeleton Cave in Arizona was attacked by the U.S. Army. This is the Asians. The Yopi people, December 28th, 1872, the Indians, ran into a cave in Arizona, attacked by the U.S. Army, trying to force them to a reservation, trying to force people to live where they want them to live, trying to force them on a reservation after you took their land. Why do you think these people rational? I don't get it. I don't get it. The KKK carried out, this is April 13th, 1873. The KKK carried out the Cold Flex Massacre in response to a Republican victory in the 1872 election. The bloodiest single instance of racial carnage in the Reconstruction era, the Colfax Massacre taught many lessons, including the length to which some opponents of Reconstruction would go to regain their accustomed white supremacist authority. Fearful that white militias would attempt to take over local parish governments, Republicans officer holders occupied the Colfax courthouse. Here is a description from Black Pass. More than 300 armed white men, including members of white supremacist organizations such as the Knights of White Camellia and the Ku Klux Klan, attacked the courthouse buildings. When the militias maneuvered a cannon to fire on the courthouse, nothing sacred with them. On the courthouse, some of the 60 black defendants fled while others surrendered. When the leaders of the attackers, James Hancock, was accidentally shot by one of his own men, the white militia responded by shooting the black prisoners. Those who were wounded in the earlier battles, particularly black militia members, were singled out for execution. The indiscriminate killing spread to African Americans who had not been at the courthouse and continued into the night. Although federal charges were brought against several white insurgents, the Supreme Court later ruled in United States versus that the 14th Amendment only applied to state actions and offered no protection against acts by individual citizens. Unpunished Murder is the name of the book. Lawrence Goldstein. Come on, my people. Come on, my people. But what I want to do is I want to take y'all to the fact that it hasn't stopped. Now, this is back then. I'm going to take you back. Now, let's continue. Let's go more recently days. October 24th and 27th, 2018, hate crime in Kentucky and Pennsylvania. 2 hate crime shootings in 1 week. One of African Americans in Kentucky and one other of Jews in Pittsburgh. On October 24th, in the Louisville suburbs of Jeffersontown, Kentucky, a white man shot and killed 2 African Americans at Kroger store. He had first tried to enter a black church. However, the doors were locked. The 2 people killed were Marcia Stellard and Vicky Lee Jones. Learn more from this October 30th, 2018 story at Democracy Now! Charleston Church Massacre. June 17, 2015, Charleston Church Massacre. On June 17, 2015, 9 African American churchgoers were gunned down inside Charleston Historic Mothers Emily AME Church in an act of white supremacist terrorism. The 9 people murdered were, I ain't gonna go through the names, but we will recommend 2 articles for this day by Reverend William J. Ballard II, The True Charleston Killers Remain at Large, Racism, Poverty, and Violence Are the Real Killers in America. Come on, my people. Come on, my people. Man, my people. We got to understand listen. We got to understand that we've been at war. We just ain't been fighting back. It's been a civil war. It's been a war on black people. And they murder you every way possible through the court system. They murder you on the streets. They gonna kill you any way possible. They're gonna murder you through economics. The question is, when will you as black people stop contributing to your own demise? When will you as black people recognize that you are under attack? When is you going to man up, woman up, and realize you have to build a team to be able to defend you and your children? You cannot do it alone. Every murder that ever made any noise, got any repercussions of a black person, only happened because the rest of the black people took to the streets. So no economic progress will happen. No social progress will happen until black people take to each other.